Guys, we need to have a serious discussion about scale. What's scale got to do with it, and does size matter? Find out today on Radioactive RC Range.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a handful of RCs out here to prove a point about scale and to show some of the inconsistencies from the manufacturers of these RCs. So what we have is our 3 to 4S lineup up front, and then we've got the big boys in the back. So let's go through them one by one. When dealing with bashers, I think scale boils down to 3 things: wheelbase, power systems, and your hub systems. Your hubs support the power system, your power system provides the power, and your wheelbase provides the platform in order to operate safely. Alright guys, let's start off with the Traxxas Summit. This is a bit of an anomaly, but it is a 1/10 scale with 17mm hubs, a 4S power system, and it has quite a long wheelbase. As you can see sitting next to it, we have the Arrma Kraton. It is running on a 6S platform, 17mm hubs, and it has slightly shorter wheelbase from the Traxxas Summit. So why is this? We have a 1/8 scale RC that's smaller than a 1/10 scale RC. So is there a difference? Some would say yes, some would say no. You've got a big difference in power systems, but the Summit can be upgraded to operate on the same power system as the Kraton. There are a lot of similarities here, but the big difference is the power system, which can always be upgraded later to a 6S on the Summit. You can see the wheels are pretty consistent. Wheelbase just slightly longer on the 1/10. Just the first of many inconsistencies. Now moving on to our first 1/7 scale, the Mojave operates on the same power system as the 1/8 scale Arrma Kraton. It has the same hub system, 17mm. It just has a slightly longer wheelbase, which works out better in the racing forms because you don't get as many wheelies. But size comparison, very similar, just about 1.5 inch difference. Alright guys, this is where we get into some of the controversy. This is a 1/6 scale Red Cat shredder, originally a 4S platform that I have upgraded to belted basher tires, 24mm hubs, upgraded suspension, 12-cell dual motor system. It has a 1/5 scale steering servo. So this also has the same wheelbase as the X-Max, which controversial about whether it's a 1/5 or a 1/6 scale basher, but it has the exact same footprint. So I just wanted to point out some of the inconsistencies. Is it about the components, or is it about the overall size? Okay guys, hopefully you guys are starting to see where I'm going with this. Alright, on to the big boys, the K8. This is a behemoth. It weighs almost 30 pounds next to the shredder that weighs about 21 pounds. It has the same exact hub system, 24mm hubs. It has the same steering servo. It has a similar power system. It is almost the same wheelbase. I believe that the Kraton is about 1/4 inch longer than the shredder, but very, very similar. Similar speeds, similar capabilities. One was just born a 4S and one was born an 8S. So is it the components or is it the size? It's up to everyone to decide. Everyone has an opinion on it, but that's why we're having this discussion. Alright, hopefully you guys have a good size comparison for all these 1/10 to 1/5 scale RCs. Now on to the big boy, the dbxl-e 2.0 by Losi. In my opinion, the only true 1/5 scale RC, those RCs in its class, the big gas runners, not the nitro, but the big gas runners, those are the true 1/5 scales in my opinion. However, between the Kraton and the Losi, there are very, very many similarities. Same hub systems, same ESC. The Losi has a little bit bigger motor, but a little bit longer wheelbase with the Losi, as it is a buggy racer and not a basher, so that's appropriate. You really start getting bigger components on the Losi. The belted tires are an absolute must. You have much bigger components than the others, but this ought to give you a real good size comparison to some of the RCs that are out there. I hadn't seen a whole lot of thorough size comparisons out there as far as the different scales of RCs, so I've really been wanting to do this video for a long time. I really think that when you get up to a true 1/5 scale RC, you really start getting into different components in a whole different category, especially when dealing with the DBXL. So, all right, guys, on to our 3S and 4S lineup. It is looking good. These are great beginner or intermediate RCs. Now, all of these RCs have something in common. One of them looks a little different, and one of them has a different scale classification. So let's get right into it. All three of these Armas run on the same long wheelbase chassis, but they are slightly different with their components. The Kraton 4S actually has a lot of the 3S characteristics. However, it has a different hub and drive shaft system, able to handle a little bit more power. However, it is on the same chassis. It is running on 15 millimeter hub systems, a little bit different from the typical 12 millimeter that the Big Rock comes with. Although these have been highly modified, this is actually running on 17 millimeter hub systems now. It typically comes with a 12 millimeter, but very, very similar. Moving on to the Traxxas, this is a 1/10 scale, just like all of the two before it. This runs on a 12 millimeter hub system, but it is very small compared to the others. Now, this would be more on the lines of an Outcast 4S or a Arma Granite. Guys, Traxxas even considers this in the same category as the Summit, which is crazy. So, all right, moving on to our next anomaly. This is the 3S Arma Typhon. Now, this is considered to be a 1/8 scale. So what makes it different? This comes with 17 millimeter hubs. It comes with a 3S power system, but it is on the same wheelbase as the Big Rock and the Arma Kraton 4S. So what makes this so different? What about the scale makes this a 1/8 scale RC? Well, typically buggies are a smaller 1-to-1 car than a monster truck, which that's how they get away with it. That and putting 17 millimeter hubs on it makes it a little easier. But as you can see, there are a lot of inconsistencies here. Comment down below and tell everybody what your opinion about scale is. We all have our opinion on scale, guys, but I think we can all agree that the RC hobby is fun no matter what size RC you're running. I think scale belongs with the crawlers. However, when dealing with the bashers, I think it boils down to three things. I think you have to have the appropriate power system for your RC. I think you need to have the hub system to support that power system, and you have to have the wheelbase in order to safely operate that. All right, guys, till the next time, get out there and build something, enjoy the hobby, grip it and rip it, and we will see you Radioheads on the next one.